Sunrise annual meeting. We've been in the Bennington community for 52 years, almost as long as me, and look forward to many years to come. We would also like to thank everyone for agreeing to come to this beautiful outdoor location for our annual meeting. Usually we have it indoors at a nice little restaurant or something, but COVID's given us a little challenges here, so we're going to do it outside. So we appreciate your attendance. I'm supposed to point out the bathrooms, but I don't know where the bathrooms are. They're up the hill? Okay.
Yeah, that building up there. On the other side of the fence.
Okay, on the other side of the fence there's bathrooms. And everyone's going to have time to mingle and eat again after our meeting, okay? One of the first things we have to do is we're going to have a brief board meeting and the formal seating of our officers. And I wanted to introduce our board members, and when I do, if you would just stand up, please. He's our Peter Lawrence. He is our vice chair. He is already standing. Thank you, Peter. Al Bashevkin, who is our outgoing treasurer. Kathy Thompson. Kathy, she's our secretary. Jonathan Cooper. There he is. Chandler Poling. Chandler here? Nope, he's not here. Okay, sorry. Sharon Cave. Thank you, Sharon. And we have a new member, Linda Bowe. Hi, Linda. Thank you. So let's see. Oh, first of all, I wanted to thank Al Bashevkin for being on our board and serving as our treasurer for the last 2.5 years. We're very grateful for his service and skills that he brought to the table, and I really enjoyed getting to know you, Al. So thank you for your service. I am looking for a motion to elect Lori Burdick as chair, Peter Lawrence as vice chair, Jonathan Cooper as treasurer, and Kathy Thompson as our secretary.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so moved. Let's see. Okay, so tonight we are going to take some time to recognize the community partners voted on by the staff. And we are also going to highlight some volunteers and award our Bonnie Prentice Award. Tonight we have Susan Scorbati. Susan, thank you for coming. She's going to be speaking to all of you today. She is the director of the Center for the Advancement of Public Action at Bennington College, where she has taught for the last 35 years. Susan co-founded Quantum Leap, a program for youth at risk of dropping out of school, and has helped over 3,000 students stay in school between 1999 and 2018. She was the first director of the Governor's Institute on the Arts that resulted in the Governor's Institute of Vermont, and holds the Barbara and Lewis Jones Chair for Social Activism at Bennington College, where she was the former Dean of Faculty. Susan was the first recipient of the David G. Rahr Award for Community Service from the Vermont Community Foundation in 2003. Under her leadership, Bennington College received a grant from the Mellon Foundation to address food insecurity in the town of Bennington with their partners, the hospital, the public schools, and GBICS, and in the last 3 years has distributed grants to 10 local organizations, of which Sunrise is one. Please welcome Susan Scorbati.
So welcome everyone, and thank you for the honor and the privilege of talking to such a great organization. I've known about you for a long time. Many years ago, I was connected to some students who were, part of Quantum Leap, who also were attending Sunrise, some of your programs. So I know firsthand of how much you've done for the community and how much you still continue to do. So Denise asked me to come today to talk to all of you, and I thought, okay, what could I talk about that might be meaningful for people? And I can certainly say a couple things about projects going on in Bennington, which I will. But I thought it was maybe the most important to talk about some inspiring stories, particularly because we've all really been through a lot, I think, in the last, going on now, our second year of dealing with the pandemic. And it's taken a really heavy toll, I think, on us physically, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. So more than ever, I feel like it's really important that we take the time to care for each other, kind of slow down, and maybe pay attention to what we all need for ourselves and for the people that we really care about. Particularly because I know most of you here, and I just really want to honor you for that many of you get up every day ready to help people. And in a world where money and power and other kinds of things, thinking you have to buy the next thing that you absolutely must have, seems the most important. I think we probably all know deep down in our hearts that what is the most important is that we help other people and that we care for each other. And all of you have made that choice somewhere along in your lives to do that. And so probably you are the essential workers, part of the essential workers that exist now in the world. And you should be praised and thanked for that every single day. So I really wanted to honor that. So the three inspiring stories that I wanted to just say briefly, without disclosing, any personal information, is one, a young woman who was in Quantum Leap, and there are many, many young people who went through the program who overcame enormous odds to find their way in life and find a good life for themselves. But this one young woman that I'm thinking about came from really, really difficult circumstances. And it was really touch and go for her the whole time in high school. But she really stuck with it. And she is now a licensed therapist and helps adolescents and teenagers. That's what she does for a living. And it doesn't mean she still doesn't struggle with a lot of things, but she found her dream. She always wanted to be a therapist. She never thought she was capable of going to college, first of all, college, let alone get a master's degree in counseling. But she was able to do that, and so I wanted to just note that. The second person is a foster son who also went through enormous challenges and ended up with a foster parent who had never been a foster parent and never planned to be a foster parent, never thought they would ever be in that situation, and through an odd set of circumstances ended up being a foster parent and taking in this young man. I think was 12 at the time, 12 or 13. And through a lot of different struggles and challenges through the teenage years, through those experiences, which were really unusual and, tested a lot of the people involved, but everybody hung in there. He now has his own business, 2 beautiful children, and just bought his own house and is really doing well. So that's just another story of somebody who really hung in there and was able to realize his dreams. And then the third person that I want to bring up was an African-American young man who was one of my students at Bennington College, who came to Bennington to do dance. And in his junior year said, I have decided I want to become a lawyer. And I said, well, that's kind of an unusual situation when you've been in dance for 3 years. So you want to change your career like that. But I said, okay, this is your dream. We got to try to make it happen. So he got a tutor. We managed to find a tutor. He had no money absolutely nothing. He came from nothing. His parents, was not completely disconnected from his family at that point that had been out in California. Now he was in Vermont. So he was totally on his own. Anyway, we figured a tutor who would come and tutor him for, no money. He passed his law exams, his LSATs are called. And I said, well, maybe you should wait a year and do a little work and then see if you can get into law school. It was like, no, I'm going to law school next year. I said, okay, well, we'll see what we can do. So he applied to, just a ton of schools, not the best law schools, it didn't matter. He just wanted to get into a law school. He managed to get into a small law school in Northern California. He went to California, he graduated from law school. He then had no money to start out in a law firm and didn't have really credentials. So he joined the Navy and became a lawyer, and they sent him to a tiny island out in the Pacific where he just had to represent people who were the native peoples on this island. He did such a good job that when he came back, the Justice Department hired him in Washington, D.C., and so he worked there and then ended up writing the Whistleblower Laws for the Congress and the Security and Exchange Commission, which are now still very present in our culture, because when you're a whistleblower, it's a really scary situation, and he's made it now safe for people to come forward. So anyway, that's the third story. So these are all true stories. I know all three people that I'm talking about, and that's why I'm bringing them forward to you. Just to say that we always have to be reminded, all of us, that no matter how young or old we are, we can still fulfill our potential and follow our dreams, but we need to find the support that will help us do that. And we are very disappointed a lot, because we help people and then we're disappointed for whatever reasons. Sometimes we're disappointed in ourselves. Sometimes we're disappointed in people that we try to help, that no matter how hard we try, it doesn't seem to work. And I just want to say, one, we can't fix another person, right? Only each of us can fix ourselves. But you never know. And I've learned this now because I'm older now. I've learned that if you give yourself to somebody else, it might be 10 years later, it might be 20 years later. That's when they may remember what you said to them, what you gave to them, that can then make something really change for the better. So I just wanted to kind of really put that out there, because I have to say it to myself every day. So just to kind of finish up, so I had all my notes, I didn't even have to use them. I'm just talking, which is a problem, because I could really talk for a long time. But I did want to say a couple things about just Bennington and some of the projects that are going on right now that I'm involved in. And one of them, as was mentioned, was the food insecurity work. And there's a lot actually starting to happen around the world, as well as in Bennington, around local food. And the ability I think the question is, what if Vermont had to feed itself? What if we know we're going through now this issue with supply chains and, right, the boats parked off the ports, and a real problem with getting goods into the country right now. And so the ability for communities to feed themselves is I would say, really, really important. And so, like, what does that mean? How do all of us contribute to a local economy where we could really feed ourselves? I think that's something that we all need to really think about, and think about our own households, and can we start gardens? Can we help people in our communities? But I'm involved with people now they've just leased a building on Shields Drive, which is like literally across the street from here, and a meat processing company and a local food hub is going to open up. We're hoping next year. A lot of people are contributing to this. to connect all the farms in our area, from all over Bennington to Brattleboro to Rutland, that will bring local food into Bennington, that can be distributed to the hospital, to the college, to restaurants, to local stores, to Sunrise, to whoever is opening up food pantries or has places. This will really help local food get into Bennington to all of us. Not just people who, high end where it's expensive and you can't access it, but local food to everybody in town. So that's something that a lot of people are working on right now, and it'd be amazing if Bennington could turn out to be kind of like, I might call a town of wellness, where we really all felt like we had fresh food and that it was a constant way to access it and get it for our families. So that's one thing that we're really working on. Another thing I just had read literally when I was coming over here, because it's a book that I'm using for my class right now, but I thought it was really a great thing to think about. They were in here that they said this, the World Health Organization, right, which is all involved with the pandemic now and everything that's going on, they listed the conditions for health. And I thought, okay, this is really interesting. Because usually we think about health as just going to our family doctor, or something's wrong, we go to the emergency room. So here's the conditions for health. Peace. What do we do to contribute to peace in our neighborhoods, in our families? And the absence of peace, can that cause disease? Shelter. Housing. I just saw in the paper that young high school student who was demonstrating to keep people in motels, right? If we could do it during the pandemic, why can't we do it for all the time? Education, access to education. To me, education is like I was saying before, the ability to dream, to do what you want to do in life. Food. Okay, what you eat, what you put in your body, related to health. Income, whether you have, how stressed out you are in terms of being able to support yourself. A stable ecosystem, right? Care for the environment, for nature. Like we're so fortunate to live in Vermont. It's such a beautiful place all the time. Not everybody has that. Sustainable resources, things that we know we can always count on and that aren't going to disappear. Social justice, we know how important that is right now, and how we need to be a welcoming town in Bennington to all people. And equity, right? The ability for us to feel that we know life's not fair. We know that's just part of reality, but given that, we can do everything we can to make things fair for everybody around us. So, just to conclude, now I will look at my paper, see where my last sentence is. Okay, here's my last sentence. So for your annual meeting this year, not that I can represent the Bennington community, but I'm going to say on behalf of the Bennington community, since I know a lot of people in Bennington, I've been here for a long time, I want to thank all of you for your time, your energy, your care, and your commitment, and for everything that you do for other people here in Bennington. So thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you. And thanks to everyone who's here. The next step here is we're giving some awards. And the first award is our Individual Distinguished Service Award, and the recipient of that is Jane Nichols. Jane has been a guardian ad litem in the Bennington Family Court for a number of years. I'm very familiar with the guardian ad litem program because before I retired, my major practice was in the family court, and I worked with many, many guardian ad litems, and Jane is a really exemplary example of all the good that guardian ad litems can do. They're appointed by a judge in their various kinds, whether it's a divorce, whether it's a juvenile case, but they're appointed to speak to the court in the best interests of the child. And oftentimes, true confession, you have two attorneys who really aren't interested in the best interests of the child. They're advocating for their side, and it is so crucial to have a guardian ad litem who can say, wait a minute, this is what the child is saying. Keep this in mind. Say that to the parties, say that to the parents, say that to the attorneys. Jane has gone above and beyond in her work. She was assigned to a young woman a number of years ago. She maintained contact with that woman as she grew. After the woman aged out of the system, Jane kept contact with her, helped her through various life stages, even helped her purchase a car recently, and has really become that young woman's family. And for this and all the other things that she does, we'd like to honor Jane Nichols. And Jane, if you want to say a few words, you can.
Thank you so much. I do want to say just a very few words. Ooh, gifts.
Yeah.
And one is, this is an award, but to me it's really an honor. This is an amazing organization. I had no idea it existed, and now I do, and I think Bennington is so much the better for it. I thank you all for your work. And Susan, you reminded me of the most important thing, and that is we need to think about our successes and not our failures. And I needed that. So thank you very much.
Now it's my honor to give the Distinguished Community Service Award to Jenny Moon. Jenny is the Early Intervention Program Coordinator for Child's Integrated Services that's housed at SVMC. And she has campaigned to improve and expand the CIS services available to all families throughout Bennington County. Since 2014, Jenny has worked tirelessly to understand and implement the ever-changing state governing CIS services in our community. And as someone who has worked in the field, that ain't easy, I know that. And she approached the program parameters from a creative, out-of-the-box stance, striving to marry the Vermont state guidance with the ever-increasing needs of our community, while honoring her personal understanding of what families are feeling. She's successfully brought new programs to Bennington County for children with autism. She has successfully integrated the Dr. Sanluz to provide developmental assessments and screenings for children. And most importantly, what began as a program supporting 50 children has now expanded to 178 children currently. This is in part the result of Jenny's commitment, her advocacy, and efficiency to the communities of families served. She's done an outstanding job and deserves this recognition. Jenny?
I didn't prepare anything, but I would just like to say thank you, and in honor of Sunrise as well. I wouldn't be able to do this without their support, so this is great, and thank you. Thanks.
Now it's time for our individual community services awards. And I'm really proud to present this to someone who is one of my local heroes here in Bennington, Andrea Melanowski. Andrea has coordinated many projects and activities in Bennington, and most recently the Veggie Van Go throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. Andrea organized volunteers and safely distributed food to countless families with enthusiasm. Say it again. All together? Enthusiasm. And her signature dance moves. She always has a positive attitude, and that is exactly what many people needed in addition to food throughout 2020. So Andrea?
Thank you so much. It was really my honor to step in. This is through the Vermont Food Bank. The Veggie Van Go program is all over Vermont. And when the pandemic came, it was formerly hosted at the hospital and at Molly Stark School, and both locations were unable to host because their resources were maxed and stretched, and school was canceled, and so they were just going to cancel the distributions. And my job at the time with Rise Vermont was kind of on a hiatus as well with the pandemic. And I said, well, I'll jump in, I'll see what I can do. So we now host it here at Lower Willow Park. And it was at Pownell School, but now they've been unable to host as well with the school returning. But it was really an honor at that time. It's such a scary time to jump in and provide food for, at times, 500 plus families per distribution. And as Al said, it was very serious. People were in line and you're scared and it's, oh my gosh, we need food. And just make it a party, play some music, dance around, lift spirits, life is short, we need to celebrate, right? So thank you very much, and thanks to Sunrise for all that you do in the community as well. Thank you.
We'd also like to recognize Cynthia, and hopefully I pronounced this correctly, Viazzi. Close? From Shire's Villages, Shire's Housing at Orchard Villages. Cynthia is the property manager at Orchard Village Apartments here in Bennington. Orchard Village Apartments contain many subsidized project-based units, making them a priority resource when helping homeless clients or clients with housing needs. As the property manager, Cynthia goes above and beyond her normal essential job functions to provide her tenants with a down-to-earth and empathetic and genuinely caring approach. Cynthia coordinates and puts forth an extensive amount of effort to serve her tenants and often takes on many qualities of a social worker in addition to being a property manager, such as connecting clients to resources, providing additional support services, such as help with applications or accessing programs, and coordinating with social workers, case managers, and outside service providers. Cynthia, we are very grateful for all your work, and if you could come up and receive this.
One more Community Service Award, Community Partner Award. It's my honor to give this award to Logan O'Grady Snow. I knew Logan when she was like this big, and she's that big now. She's grown up, and I'm really proud of what you've done over the years. In an effort to address period poverty in our community, Logan, with your team of volunteers and the support of community partners, established menstrual product banks across Bennington County. According to the Royal College of Nurses, period poverty is defined as the lack of access to period products due to financial constraints. Low or loss of income, homelessness, and or lack of supply are some of the causes of period poverty, and it can affect anyone who has a period. The stigma around periods makes period poverty an even greater challenge, where people are unlikely to indicate they are faced with a dilemma of choosing to purchase food for their family over menstrual products. So now, thanks to the work of Logan and her team, there are 4 menstrual product banks located throughout Bennington County. They're at Sunrise, Pave, the Second Congregational Church, and the Federated Church of Arlington. The sign on each of these boxes states, menstrual products for all, donate here or take what you need. The program is expanded across Vermont, and at its height, there were 50 statewide locations. Currently, there are 30 menstrual product banks around the state. Sunrise celebrates that it was home to Vermont's first menstrual product bank. So Logan, come on up and accept your award.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for this Sunrise. Love you all so much. I'm super excited to say that Sunrise was the first spot. I know that Al just said that, but when we were talking about starting this program, I knew that you were the place to go, and we wanted to reach this community. So it was an honor, and since its inception in the beginning of this year, we have distributed over $15,000 worth of menstrual products for free throughout the state. And it's currently switching to a hybrid model that's going to be more sustainable. I can't announce it publicly yet, but keep your eyes out. It's like really exciting, and just appreciate you all. And if anybody has questions or like wants to get involved, this was in partnership with the Planned Parenthood volunteer team here in Bennington. So come say hi. Thank you.
Next, we'd like to recognize with a community award, Pamela Hobbs. Pamela Hobbs, Pam, is Pam here? Hubbs. Am I pronouncing that wrong? Hubbs? All right, sorry. Pamela, come on. Pam is the school counselor at Bennington Elementary School. Pam is very personable, extremely likable, empathetic, and non-judgmental, even when you mispronounce her name. She works collaboratively with colleagues and community partners. Sunrise has had the pleasure of working closely with her over the past year. Pam works tirelessly to create trusting bonds with families. She worked very hard with a single dad to reestablish his trust with the school after a negative experience. She consistently keeps in contact with service providers and includes them in school meetings and other matters of importance so that children can be productive at school. Pam, we want to recognize all your work.
Thank you. I'm honored to receive this award. My first introduction to Family Sunrise Resource Center was actually when I was in the Upward Bound program many years ago with Southern Vermont College. I was a teenager, and we were given the opportunity to come to Sunrise Family Resource Center to job shadow. And I must say I had a wonderful experience at that time, and that was many years ago. And I'm blessed that I can collaborate with Sunrise Family Resource Center again. And anytime I call, no matter who I talk to on the phone, everybody has the same passion to advocate for the students and families in our community. And I'm just, it's just wonderful. So thank you for everything you do for us at Bennington Elementary. We appreciate it.
Finally, I'm pleased to present a Community Service Award to Kelly Hurley and the gang at Dutchman's Tavern. During the pandemic, for some folks, getting a hot meal wasn't easy to get, and Dutchman's Tavern was able to provide hot, delicious meals to families in the community throughout the lockdown period of the pandemic. Several Sunrise families were assisted with food as there was a need. Staff at Dutchman's contacted Sunrise about the availability of meals. Sunrise connected with families, picked up the meals, and delivered it to our families' doors. It's greatly appreciated by both staff and families. So Kelly and I think there's others from Dutchman's Tavern. If you want to come up.
Well, sure. Kristen. Go.
A lot of the meals that were donated was, we couldn't have done it without the community, because we had people call up and buy meals, and if someone bought a meal, we'd match it, and then they not only went for Sunrise, they went to other people as well. So it was a big part with the community and everything they did. We'd have random people just call up and say, I'll buy a meal, a family meal, set it aside, whoever needs it, and then whatever they did, we matched. So we had a lot of meals that we were able to give away in general overall through the whole pandemic. Even though we were closed, Kelly and I were the only 2 staff members there for however long we were shut down for. So I'm glad we were able to make it work for everybody, and it went well. Thank you.
I'm so glad there was a microphone because I didn't think I could be loud enough today. I'm going to thank some of our volunteers, and so as has been the practice, come up after I tell us about you. Family team of Tim, Connor, and Ethan Simons for all the many hours donated to Sunrise in support of our early care and education classrooms and play yard, putting together equipment, furniture, and general fixing things. We are extremely grateful for all your skills and all your time. So the Simons family.
I'm a person with very few words, so thank you very much.
To Jeff Houghton for his countless hours of painting, hanging of curtain rods, improving the Learning Together classroom and space, we are extremely grateful. And I guess Jackie's going to come accept the gift for Jeff.
Thanks. On behalf of Jeff, he is really grateful for the opportunity to assist Sunrise and everything. So thank you.
See what you mean about names, Peter. Matt Gagrich for all sorts of yard work, fixing the keyhole garden, moving air conditioners, and all sorts of other needed details. We are extremely grateful. Matt?
Thank you, guys.
Archie Budnikas for helping to put together our shelving in the pantry, doing yard work, including planting tomatoes, flowers, and mulching along with delivering cookies. We are extremely grateful.
I got help from Peter on those shelves.
It's their fault, it's my fault.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's nice to see so many people come out. I said on this sunny day, but it doesn't seem to be sunny anymore. We can just change that to a very windy day. For those who may not know me, my name is Denise Main. I'm the director here at Sunrise. And as Lori said, we usually have this event inside a little later in the day, and it often ends up being a lovely evening together. So thank you all for coming on a kind of cold, windy day. So our annual meeting has grown and evolved over time, but COVID certainly challenged us to find ways to carry on the best that we could. It became very clear very quickly that holding on to this recognition of staff, community partners, colleagues, and volunteers is vital to us. So last year, we pretty much had a drive-by event. Cat TV came and filmed it and aired it for us, and it was actually a very sweet little day. So this year, we're still outside, but we're larger. We have a sit-down gathering, and it seems like we are all moving forward. We are looking to what comes next fall. We're looking forward to that. So I love Sunrise's annual meeting, and I love that we take the time to invite our staff to nominate folks who are out there just doing great work, doing kind things every day. And I just want to congratulate all our community partners and friends and colleagues who received awards today. Thank you for all that you do every day, and you are truly our community's heroes. Now I'm just going to introduce some new staff. And when I call your name, just stand up and wave. Not everybody can make it here today, but I'll say their names and who they are. First is Catherine Rose. She is a teacher in our early care and education program. Sarah Wood. She is our floater in the early care and education program. Tiffany Roscoe is our new parent educator. Susanna Wright. Yay! Susanna is our new child care resource and referral specialist who took Lori Paisno's place, who happens to be here. Lori retired earlier in the season. And Susanna is also doubling up on her job and helping us with a new position, and is a parent. She's our parent involvement specialist, and she's helping us figure out what that means. But it's all about parent leadership and opportunities. Okay. And Bridget Worthington is our administrative assistant. Dan Cobbs is our long-awaited maintenance staff. So excited for that. Christine LaCrosse Coulter started yesterday, is our specialized child care staff. And we have an intern, CLO Cross, who's also a former employee. I don't know if CLO is here. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Now I want to invite Caitlin Harrington up. She is our last year's recipient of our Bonnie Prentice Award, and she's going to introduce this year's.
Beginning in 2008, Sunrise employees have nominated one of their peers annually to be presented with the Bonnie Prentice Memorial Award. This award was created to honor the memory of Bonnie Prentice, Sunrise's beloved early care and education teacher who died in 2007 from cancer. Staff members select a colleague that they believe best embodies the qualities that Bonnie possessed. This year, this award is proudly presented to Carly Scribner, family advocate, who joined Sunrise in 2017. I feel very honored to be presenting this year's Bonnie Prentice Memorial Award to Carly Scribner. Since Carly began working at Sunrise in 2017 in the Family Advocacy Program, she has brought an admirable sense of energy and warm determination with her each day. She is often seen out and about, walking to home visits, participating in and advocating at school meetings, and assisting families with getting food and other essential donated items. Whether it's housing or community resources, Carly is also a wealth of knowledge, and it's inspiring to hear about the accomplishments she has worked with families to achieve during announcements at staff meetings. Carly is also the first to volunteer to help watch any children during Sunrise family events or trainings for child care staff, which speaks to the way Carly's nurturing spirit aligns with the beautiful qualities that were so appreciated in Bonnie Prentice. Recently, I've had the privilege of getting to know Carly a little better and got an understanding of how incredibly passionate she is in her day-to-day advocacy. With Carly's sincere compassion, ability to form lasting connections, and unwavering efforts against injustices and unfair systems, she is very clearly a role model here at Sunrise. I was fortunate to have Carly as a moving partner in assisting a client move into their apartment, and it was apparent that Carly is no stranger to helping people move large, heavy furniture through small spaces, which is really a gift in itself. During the drives with Carly, I also got a chance to listen to some of her upcoming plans, which had consisted of taking clients she grew close with in a previous position to the fair, and she explained how it was something she started doing with them each year as they enjoyed and appreciated it so much. This says so much about Carly's character and her selflessness and care for others. Carly, thank you so much for all that you do for Sunrise and for your work with families. It's very much appreciated and deserves a special recognition.
I'm not good with speeches, so I'm very honored. Thank you so much. All right, I think our meeting's adjourned. Everyone, you're welcome to mingle, get some more hot coffee and some food, and socialize with everyone. Thank you for coming.